from Emilia-Romagna, Italy. Welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
Can your love of cycling go too far? Yes, and we've got the evidence to prove it. You left some of the funniest ever comments under the GCN Show last week, and we run through them.
Really looking forward to getting onto that. We also let you know where the best places in the US are for cycling after a recent study, and we've got a Chris Froome update.
Dun dun dun!
This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that pro cyclists really do ride pretty darn fast. Now there's a surprise for you. Alex Dowsett tweeted that he rode at over 60 kilometers per hour average for the last 40 minutes of Giro d'Italia's stage 3.
And that actually did take me by surprise, that was fast.
Absolutely incredible. Mike Wood of EF Education First Cannondale's...
No, mate, EF Education First Drapac, presented by Cannondale.
Always get it wrong. Regardless, he hit a maximum speed of 98 k's per hour.
Yeah, and he clearly means business in this year's Giro d'Italia. Here is a picture of him and his teammates, and he's on the one on the left, clearly trying to resist that cream cake really hard. I mean, look at him.
I think he only resisted whilst the photo was being taken. We also learnt this week that the longest tandem in the world is 20 metres long. Rather than taking just 2 riders, it will accommodate 35.
Yep, strange, but true. Right, now let's get on to those comments, shall we? Last week in the show, we asked what it would take to show that your love of cycling had gone too far. And you responded in your hundreds.
You did, and the conclusion we drew was that for most of you, your love of cycling has indeed gone too far,
Yeah,
which then led us to think that maybe your love of cycling can't go too far, and it's absolutely fine to be obsessed with this wonderful sport.
Yeah, okay, so let's tackle them, shall we? First of all, while some of you maybe are not being deceitful to your loved ones about how much your cycling equipment costs you, many of you clearly are getting creative with the truth. So like this one from Tobertine, I'm not proud of this, but when a pair of wheels were delivered, my wife asked me, how much did they cost? To which I replied, £300, and then whispered, each.
We had so many along these lines, didn't we? Along with David Mulligan's comment, who said, when you have to keep buying white bikes so that your non-cycling wife won't notice when you get a new one.
Yeah, I tell you what, here's a tip, right? If you want to get a different coloured one, just stop cleaning the white one for a bit, and then you can get darker colours. Genius, that was Lloydie. Always thinking. Right, how about this one? When you start thinking or doing research about your next bike purchase, when your current bike purchase is still in the mail. I like that one. Well done, Randy. Genius there.
We also had quite a few people picking up on our stories about buying a car solely based on how easy it is to get your bike in the boot or the trunk. Daryl Prothero-Thomas said that he recently sold his BMW 4 Series Coupe and bought an X4 purely because he was sick of jamming in the bike box every week. He took his bike box to Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, Land Rover, and finally that BMW garage.
Huh. Slightly different kind of situation to
Yes.
when we were looking, wasn't it? And instead of those premium marques, it was Kia and
Skoda.
Yeah, and they were second-hand dealers.
Did you go to Dacia?
I did go to Dacia, yeah.
And
I
they
couldn't
weren't the
afford
actual
one.
dealers either, were they? They were second-hand car dealers.
Yeah, they were, yeah. Anyway, at least Daryl hasn't gone one step further, like Toady Toadface, who's actually bought a van instead of a car.
Yeah,
I mean,
that does solve a lot of problems, doesn't it, if you haven't got a family?
Well, yeah.
Which many of you are finding you're not having, even if you once had one.
Yeah, funny that.
Right, next up, we love these next few comments. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Perfect.
I'm banned from speaking about bikes or cycling at family get-togethers. I once casually mentioned something about a bike, and my mum made me take time out outside. I'm 30 years old.
John the Doors, you know your love of cycling has gone too far when before an operation, having the IV tube inserted, you ask if the catheter has a pressure or a Schrader valve. Apparently the surgeon didn't get the joke.
You might well have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
TR Beyond says it's gone too far when you find yourself petitioning the IT department so they allow you access to your Training Peaks account during work hours. Right, these next two have left us a little bit concerned, haven't they?
That's right, actually, yeah. Hello there said, you know your love of cycling has gone too far when you ignore a notification for the new GCN show because you're cleaning your bike. I mean, that actually
Yeah.
That probably is gone too far, isn't it?
Too far there.
Yeah.
And standard lamp, when you start every conversation with, I was watching Dan and Si the other day, and they said...
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that is actually...
Yes, not good.
That might actually not be very good. Harry Wilson, when a romantic weekend away with your boyfriend turns into a 3-day training camp, he wasn't impressed. Yeah.
3 times a day training camp, not just 3 days, mate.
Oh, my days!
Yes.
Triple days? Who does that? Crikey.
Yeah,
that's gone too far. Yeah, I'm sorry, Harry. Yeah.
Mislav Bago hasn't lied to his girlfriend. He just hasn't, he's not given a recent update, to be perfectly honest. Maybe this is a bit too far. My girlfriend thinks I go to German lessons twice a week while I quit last year so I could cycle more. To make it believable, I bought the books and everything, and sometimes at night do the workbook exercises just so that she wouldn't notice I'm not going. Maybe I'll tell her next year.
That's genius. I mean, really weird, but very, very cool.
At least you've still got a girlfriend, though, Mislav, unlike Stuart Marsh, who's really taking the biscuit.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to read Stuart's comment out. When you dump your girlfriend, quit your job, sell everything you own apart from bikes, buy a camper van and follow the season across Europe from the opening weekend to Lombardy, then head back to the Franco-Belgian border so you can ride the Hellingen and Pavé du Nord for the last couple of months of the year. 2012, awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm very tempted, to ask our viewers for even more anecdotes about when other cycling's gone too far. I don't know, think we should draw a line under this? No, go on.
Nah,
if you've got any more anecdotes, leave them in the comments section below. We won't be mentioning them next week. Actually, we might do.
Well, I would quite like an update from Stuart Marsh, if possible. How did he get things back on track with a more normal life after 2012? Please let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Right, I'm off to Porsche and Land Rover.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We shall start cycling shorts by heading over to bike advocacy group People for Bikes, who recently listed cities and places in the US in terms of where's the best place to ride a bike. 5 criteria they set, including historical data points for rider safety and indeed the number of people that do ride bikes in a particular place. Do you want to know who came out on top?
Not really. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, no, I would really like to know.
I was going to tell you anyway. Fort Collins in Colorado, and Boulder in Colorado was 3rd as well, so that state's doing particularly well.
Interesting.
Slightly worrying, though, is the fact that the maximum rating was 5 stars, and nowhere got more than 3.5 stars.
Right, crikey. Where was Portland? Famous bike capital of the US?
That's northwest, isn't it? Just below Seattle.
On the list, mate.
Oh, right. 4th, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. It'd be good to know, wouldn't it, how much they weight the importance of the number of people already riding bikes, because you'd have thought that could skew the results a little bit, wouldn't you?
Well, apparently one place only has 141 residents, so I guess if 20 there riding their bikes, it's going to skew things slightly.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, and, safety is, of course, always important. And thinking of that, back in January, you might remember at the Consumer Electronics Show, Trek and car manufacturer Ford announced that they were working together on a new bike-to-vehicle communication system, okay? Well, things have been gathering pace since then, and they announced this week that actually a whole load of big bike companies have come on board, including Specialized, Shimano, SRAM, Giant, Orbea, Cannondale, among others. So it really is going to be quite a thing now. And those bike brands have now formed the board for the inaugural B2V committee.
Wow, sounds like a positive step, doesn't it?
Well, I think.
Although, going back to bike advocacy groups, it has caused some controversy with them because they are claiming that in order to put a piece of bike hardware, communication stuff on your handlebars or your bike somewhere, they're saying that that's not really a positive step if that's the only way to stop you getting yourself run over.
I do see that point. I see the logic there, but you can kind of extend it, couldn't you, and say, well, high vis is in that category, daytime running lights are in that category. We shouldn't have to have them in order to stop getting run over, but if they help, then at least you can do something positive about it. And bike brands, there's not much they can do, is there, really, to help out, other than help to campaign, and companies like Trek already do that. Any idea where Trek's hometown, Madison, finished, thinking of advocacy?
6th, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then. They're putting their money where their mouth is. Nice. We'd be very interested to know your thoughts on this, actually, before we move on. It is quite a hot topic, this whole bike-to-vehicle communication. So get involved in the comment section down below. Let us know what you think about it.
What people could try doing, if they don't want that communications device, is just bless their bike. Sounds strange, but there is an annual blessing of the bikes each year at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York. That took place very recently this year. Whatever your stance is on religion, it's a pretty cool thing because firstly they have a moment's silence to remember those that passed away over the last year, and also it's just a general celebration of the sport which we all love.
I do like that, actually. Right, okay, Dan, I'm sorry about this, but from that story, we're always going to have to lower the tone a little bit, but we're going to have to lower the tone quite a lot because we've got a Chris Froome update. Not an injury update, because he did, of course, crash the morning of the start of the Giro, but actually his salbutamol case. Remember that one? Basically, there is a new development that may well help his legal team because a study published recently in the British Journal of Pharmaceutical Studies, one of your faves, Dan?
Top 20.
Really? Anyway, the researchers there showed that actually the WADA test may well not be quite as accurate and therefore valid as previously thought. So perhaps, even though it showed something, Froome can get off.
Well, we all thought his lawyers might be using this to begin with, didn't we? This was a story which came to light in the Times, a British newspaper. Subsequently, though, it was pointed out to everyone that these same researchers last year did another study in which they concluded that EPO has no performance-enhancing effect.
Maverick researchers, you'd have to say, wouldn't you? Weird, though, because it's peer-reviewed journal. You know, it's in your top 20. It's good, isn't it? It's legit.
It was slumped down to possibly top 35.
Has it really? Right. And I take it there is no dates for the trial.
Well, no, it's been eight months, and we're still no clearer as to when this case will be resolved. The UCI president, though, David Lapassion, was over in Israel, I believe, last week, and spoke to Mauro Vegni, who is the race director at the Giro d'Italia, and promised him that no matter what the outcome of the Chris Froome case, all the results that he achieves at the Giro d'Italia will stand.
Yeah. And then the UCI put out a press release the next day saying that actually Lapassion has zero jurisdiction whatsoever in this case and it's all down to WADA.
Yeah.
He is completely impartial. So
rather embarrassing all round,
pretty
which
much
is par for the course really for cycling. So we're
Yeah,
very used to that now. Sticking with the UCI, they also announced last week that Gonzalo Najar had returned a positive A sample for the drug.
Not Gonzalo Najar, winner of the Tour of San Juan by an amazing 30-kilometre solo break to take victory by 2 minutes over a group of select climbers.
Yeah, that's the one.
That one.
Yeah, Serra being a third-generation EPO, which apparently doesn't work anyway. Yeah. But yeah, he returned a positive A sample, and if the B sample comes back positive, will presumably be handed a lengthy ban.
You know what? I actually think that's a good thing because his performance was eyebrow raising at best, wasn't it? And so the fact that he has now been proven, half proven, to have been taking performance enhancing drugs, it's cool, isn't it? That you can see something and say, well, that looks odd, and it is odd.
Yeah.
So yeah, positive.
Yeah, and we'll continue on with the positive front actually, because we want to give a shout out to the cycling legend that is Danny Chu. Unfortunately, Danny 20 months ago had a pretty bad accident which left him paralysed from the chest down, but the great news is that he's back competing. On Sunday he did his first marathon as a hand cyclist.
Yeah, he's something of a Pittsburgh legend, isn't he, Danny Chu? He co-founded the Pittsburgh Dirty Dozen race, twice winner of the Race Across America as well. So yeah, great work, Danny.
We will shortly be announcing who the lucky contestant is this week, who will be going on GCN's Wiggle of Fortune. Quick reminder about the prizes: a beer for me, hopefully, if it lands right there. About time.
The odds surely are stacking up.
They must be shortening the odds, mustn't they?
Apparently that doesn't happen.
The beers are stacking up in the fridge as well.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could get one of 4 prizes in terms of Wiggle vouchers. Prize 4 being £25 of vouchers, and prize 1 being £150. Haven't seen that for a couple of weeks either, have we?
We haven't. And actually, Dan, we're going to have to convert to euros this week because the contestant is Mathieu Thiem from France.
There's pretty fewer euros than pounds these days, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
100 euros.
Yeah, right, come on then. Let's start spinning that wheel, shall we? Allez!
Right.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Right then, come on then, spin that wheel. Where's the beer, Lloydie? Where's the beer? Eyes on the prize, mate. Eyes on the prize.
This is not looking good, I don't think.
It's got too much velocity for the beer. Oh, that is closer. I'm sorry. What is it? Oh, I tell you what, it's looking good for prize number 1. Mathieu, you could, but you. Oh, prize number 2, £75 converted into euros.
Yeah, we'll be in touch with you to send out your prize. I lose interest every week when it clicks past the beer. Sorry.
And Matthew, make sure you get in touch with us and let us know what you're going to do with your voucher. Racing news now, and much of the cycling world's attention has, of course, been at the beginning of the Giro d'Italia, the first Grand Tour of the year, the 101st edition of the race, and starting slightly controversially this year in Israel.
And there were a lot of talking points before the race even started. Not political talking points, but crashes, because a number of the big name riders hit the deck in training on the morning of that opening time trial, not least Chris Froome and Miguel Angel Lopez. Fortunately for them, though, their wounds were only superficial, and the same couldn't be said for poor Konstantin Sitsu, riding for Bahrain Merida, who hit the deck and fractured a vertebrae, and he'll apparently be out for a full 3 months.
Yeah. Poor Konstantin Sutzel. Also, poor old Jack Haig as well. He also came down, but he left until the actual race to hit the deck. He's posted this very brave, very naked photo showing the extent of his injuries, and that does look pretty nasty, doesn't it? Not good at all. Anyway, on to the racing itself, and Tom Dumoulin started this year's race pretty much where he left off last year with a stellar performance in a time trial. He took victory by 2 seconds over a very disappointed Rowan Dennis. Although his team BMC helped to make amends the following day, they set him up to take time bonuses at the second intermediate sprint. And although it looks relatively uncontested, apparently he put out nearly 1,400 watts, according to Velon data. So, fair play to him for that.
Close to 900 watts for 24 seconds as well. So he did work for it, despite Viviani saying it was uncontested. Viviani, incidentally, has been the king of the sprint so far in the Giro, hasn't he? He's won 2 from 2 on stages 2 and 3. The race has a rest day on Monday, but today, Tuesday, everything will resume down in Sicily for some very typical Giro stages, quite complicated affairs, which I, for one, am very much looking forward to.
Yep, I for two. Now, we've also got to give a little shout out to Sander Arme of the Lotto Fixall team. He, this is what he normally looks like, and this is what the poor bloke looked like just before he started the time trial, and that's because he got stung by a wasp, swelled up like a balloon. Poor chap.
I wonder if he was more aero.
That's a good point, actually. That does look like an aero face.
No, it does look very sore indeed, doesn't it? He could have applied, along with his team, for a TUE from the UCI for cortisone, an injection of which probably would have solved most of his problems, but between them, they decided that they weren't going to do that, and he's ploughed on through. He's still in the race. He's now down in Italy and looking pretty much back to normal.
He says back to normal, Dan. Not pretty much. That's actually what it looks like. The men's and women's tours of Yorkshire were also incredibly well supported this weekend. In fact, it felt like there couldn't really have been an occupied house in the entire county, given how many people were on the sides of the roads. Although, disappointingly, it was only 2.6 million after the organisers had actually counted.
Only? I always pity the person actually who has to count the people on the roadside. That must be a tough old job, mustn't it?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Well, presumably got one of those clicker things like they have on an aeroplane to make sure everybody's on board.
Can your thumb move fast enough?
No, probably not for 2.6 million people in 5 hours.
No.
Nevertheless, both the men's and women's races produced some very worthy winners in the form of Greg Van Avermaet, the Olympic champion who won the 4-day men's race, and Megan Garnier, the American from Bulls Dulmans, who won the 2-day women's race. Also, thank you to all of you from North and South America who joined us here on GCN for our live broadcast of the Tour de Yorkshire on Facebook. We really enjoyed doing that, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, it'll be the first of many live races to come.
Yeah, mega exciting, isn't it? And if you don't live in North and South America, but you live in Europe instead, then also remember that we're doing little stage recap videos for Eurosport. We're talking over the big news of the day and also with race highlights. You can find that on the Eurosport website and also their app as well. Right, Dan. Got to move over onto the dirtier side of the sport now.
No, we did that in cycling shorts, mate. All the doping stuff.
No. I mean like mud, dirt, trying to sound cool.
Trying.
Yeah, basically. Mathieu van der Poel, cyclocross star, has announced that he's going to be focusing on mountain biking in the run-up to the Tokyo Olympics in 2020 in order to try and win a medal there. But the reason I bring this up is because Cycling Tips had an interview with Peter Sagan, and when put this question about what does he think about Mathieu van der Poel, his reply was, who? Which I just think is absolutely genius.
Yeah. He does that quite a lot, doesn't he? It's probably the most Peter Sagan thing that he's ever said, though, with somebody that's that famous.
Huh? Actually, that interview was conducted at the inaugural Sagan Fondo, which was a gravel event, and he was looking pretty at home on his very tricked-out gravel bike.
As you'd expect for a man of his technical standards.
Yeah.
We shall finish racing news this week, though, with news of Adam Hansen. If you didn't already know this, he's currently riding his 20th Grand Tour on the trot, and he's finished all of them, which means if he finishes this 101st Giro d'Italia, he will have done 420 stages in a row.
Yeah. Actually, a couple of stages got cancelled, didn't they? So it's
That's true.
418.
Yeah, 418. Not quite as good, that record then, is it?
Not
You should
really.
carry on to the tour.
Well, yeah, pretty much. We've got some results now for you. Last week, we gave you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets for the Prudential Ride London Surrey Classic Sportif, which is on closed roads in central London and in Surrey, courtesy of Continental Tyres. But not only that, you also got to win a pair of Continental GP 4000 S2 tyres, and also some for the mate that's going to do it with you. Although you probably don't have to share them with your friend, do you? Just
No.
take an extra pair for
Keep
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, the results, Dan.
Yes, we are going to have a list of the results at the bottom of our screen, hopefully, because they're going to pose me some pronunciation
No,
problems.
go on, mate. Give it a go.
First up, Luca La Ragione, or Ragione.
Perfect.
You don't know that.
One of them was perfect, probably.
Nick Strelchuk, Anthony James, got that one, nailed it. Peter Russ, Dan Canavan, Arthur Visselske from Denmark, and also Bob Kelly. So sorry about all of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got Bob Kelly and Anthony James right.
Well, mate. 2 out of
Well done
7.
to all of you as well. We will be in touch in order to send out your prize and also the tickets for the Prudential Ride London, which is a very cool competition prize
Super
indeed.
cool, yeah.
One of our favourite times of the week now. It's hack/bodge of the week. Don't forget that if you would like to submit your hacks and bodges, just use the hashtag GCNHack on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, or send them in as a direct message on Facebook. First up this week from Dale Moore on Facebook Messenger, spotted this outside his local in Aarhus, Denmark. Handmade using steam to slowly bend and shape the two pieces of wood.
That is super cool, isn't it? I mean, that is just about as cool as it gets. I love that. There's not even a question that that's anything other than... Well, it's not even a hack, is it? That's just beautiful.
Well, it might well be in production, looking at how well finished it is.
Fair play, yeah. Let us know some more about that bike if you know it, because, yeah, fantastic. Right, next one. I don't think this is either a hack or a bodge either, because this is also for sale, surely.
Yeah.
It's a cheeky little six-pack carrier slung over your top tube, but that is a nice one, isn't it? Look at that.
You'd be surprised how many times I get tagged into that particular product.
Why is that, mate?
On various forms of social media. Yeah, it's a hack, but it is in production, so...
What most people don't realise when they tag Dan in is that actually that's not big enough for Dan. He needs double the capacity at
Well, I
least.
need this side. Next hack /bodge from Alex Pond on Facebook, an aero hydration system, and look at that at the back.
That is brilliant, isn't it? And that is aero as well, actually. As we found out when we hit the wind tunnel, when we were testing the best ways to carry luggage on a bike, actually giant saddlebags are as aerodynamic as no luggage at all. But imagine if you actually designed something to wrap around your butt, basically to be like bum fairing.
Yeah.
So that is the future, actually, of hydration systems. That's cool.
That would have to be a rather large hydration system for you if it wrapped around your butt.
Right, what about this one from Lurchimus Raticus? This is just bizarre, and it does have a bit of a backstory to it. Lurchimus and friend Rosie are riding 2 centuries in 2 days, then having a couple of days off, and then 2 centuries in 2 days back home again. And they've decided to do it with this to make it harder for themselves. Lurchimus broke his back in 2015 and lost the use of his lower left leg. Rosie's weapon of choice is a mountain bike with a homemade trailer to tow his Schwinn Stingray.
Hey, Schwinn Stingray!
Yeah, there we go. And those are hard to ride uphill, aren't they? As you found out.
They're really heavy. They're great fun to ride downhill. I hadn't recognised it initially, but I love my Schwinn Stingray.
It's what I can't work out is someone actually riding the Stingray, or are they just towing it around? Because if they are riding it, that is a horrific bodge. Look at it, just sort of tied on with a piece of rope.
Hack or bodge?
Or a bodge, isn't it? Clearly.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah.
As is this, the final one from this week from Gabor Lehocky. Again on Facebook. This is not a hidden motor, is it? It's very much on show on a bike which has been quite mangled. I don't think I'd like to ride that bike with a motor on it.
No. I'm not sure I'd like to ride that bike without a motor, Dan. It looks terrifying, but then strapping a petrol engine on as well. Well, good luck to whoever owns that bike. That's a grade A bodge, isn't it? Not a great week for hacks, I suppose, apart from our beautiful work of art at the beginning.
Well, and the hydration system, that was aero too. Got a couple in there, haven't we?
I suppose, yeah.
Right, yeah, don't forget to keep sending them in using the hashtag GCNHack. We'll do more of the same this time next week. Caption competition time now, which is your weekly chance to win a GCN Camelback water bottle. Quick reminder of last week's photo. It was this one of Giorgio Bronzini atop the podium at the Tour of Chongming Island. We have a very worthy winner this week.
We do indeed. This is an absolute belter, mainly because it's taking the mick out of Dan, which we always applaud. This is from Mark Pyle. Congratulations to you. Bronzini jumping high to avoid the tumbleweed as Dan makes another hash at the caption competition. To be fair, Dan's the best we've got at captions, so it's pretty much a slight at all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I have a go this week?
Go on then. This week's photo is this one on the podium at the Giro d'Italia of Elia Viviani. Take it away, Si.
All right. You want to know the secret to Quick Step Floor's success? Look into my eyes.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I think Johnny B will be putting some tumbleweed effects over the top of that one too.
No, don't put tumbleweed on that one.
Leave your captions just in the comment section down below and we'll pick a winner for a GCN Camelback water bottle next week. By the way, Mark, get in touch with us on Facebook with your address so that we know where to send it.
Before we get on to what's coming up on the channel this week, we thought we would take a little look, as usual, at some of the comments that you've left under our videos from the previous week, including, starting with this one from Saf1981, underneath how to win the Giro. Just put your white jersey in the wash with a red jersey. Ta-da! You win by default.
I've got a few pink jerseys at home from that exact thing.
Yeah.
Also, underneath our Giro d'Italia preview show, somebody, Catusphere Kio, wrote, Matt leaving is taking longer than him clipping in, which is a very good point. Actually, there's more on Matt on the channel this coming week, isn't there? So let's get on to what we have got coming up. Wednesday is how to prep and train for a gravel race. That's going to be a really good one, which I'm looking forward to myself. I'm not in it, by the way.
You're not preparing for a gravel race, are you?
No, I'm not. On Thursday, Matt is back in a pre-recorded show, unfortunately. Top Italian cycling phrases part 2. Friday is Ask GC Anything. On Saturday, it is the latest of our commuter training sessions with Emma. Part 6. This week, she is focusing on strength and power. Yeah,
then Sunday, we've got a big feature for you. GCN goes bike packing. Oh yeah, you can find out how I get on. Bike packing around the Atlas Mountains, that Cycling Shorts marathon of 36 hours consecutively in the same chamois, and other adventures, so definitely well worth checking out. And also, just a quick heads up, over on the GCN Tech channel, you can also get a closer look at the quite amazing bike that I was able to ride for that trip as well, so do make sure you check that out. Then Monday is the GCN Racing News Show, loads to talk about of course with the Giro d'Italia going on. Tuesday is the GCN Show, and also another quick heads up to those of you who do live in Europe, if you want to see the GCN Giro stage reviews for Eurosport, make sure you look those up on their website.
We should also point out that Emma, as we speak in fact, is down in Sicily doing some rest day content from the Giro d'Italia and also from stages 1 and 2. I think she's going up Mount Etna as well, possibly, isn't she?
She is indeed, yeah.
Stay tuned for some extra special Giro d'Italia content coming from Emma.
Right, unfortunately we are getting towards the end of the GCN show now, but we of course have got Extreme Corner for you. And this week we've got Mike Hopkins with Dream Ride 3 for Diamondback. Less extreme, but still worth a watch.
Life's little storms try and push me astray. Not me, not today, not now, I'll say. For sometimes, life's challenges can create something grand, like castles formed from fine grains of sand.
Well, I tell you what, that isn't extreme, but I do like that. Do you know what? Looks like the future of gravel riding to me, that last bit.
Is it of slight concern though that the future of Extreme Corner is not extreme?
No.
It Dreamy Corner.
Yeah, we'll have something gnarly next week.
Yeah.
Gnarly Corner, oh that'll be good.
Gnarly Corner. So someone that refused to say lolling earlier on in the show.
Well, lolling's not a verb. Gnarly is an adjective. It's fine.
Sorry,
yeah.
Okay. Right, that is the end of the show this week. A quick reminder that we still have a few of these t-shirts left at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. You'll find a link to that right now. There's also the pink ones left.
But get in quick because there's not many left. So head over to the shop to have a look at those. And if you want another video right now, Dan has got a cracker exploring Now, hold yourself. Ball bearings at ceramic speed. So this is seriously well worth a watch, even if you might not think tech is right up your street.
Exactly how they make their balls.